Welcome back to the news from Kazakhstan. I'm Askat Sheraliyev with the latest updates. Here are the headlines. In forced isolation, the authorities of Astana advised city residents not to leave their apartments during the OSCE summit. Give Life to Childhood, Almaty hosted a charity event to support children with HIV/AIDS. News agency Regnum reported on Thursday that, according to unconfirmed information, the Swiss prosecutor's office launched a criminal investigation against Timur Kulibayev, the son-in-law of President Nazarbayev. Reportedly, the investigation deals with the laundering of $600 million stored at local Swiss accounts. Earlier this year, Kulibayev was already accused of similar crimes by the former head of the BTA Bank, Mukhtar Ablyazov. Back then, the Medeo District Court of Almaty ruled to recognize the information released by the banker as untrue. Later, the same judge made an unprecedented decision to ban the mass media from publishing any information defaming the honor and dignity of Timur Kulibayev. Luckily, this decision was later overturned. Find out more information about the news scandal from the next report. The information of the news agency says that the investigation believes Kulibayev received money through bribes as well as income from fraudulent sale of oil and gas assets in 2000 through 2005. At the time of this allegedly illegal activity, Kulibayev served as the board chair of the company Kaztrans and later deputy board chair of Kazmunaygas. Earlier this year, similar accusations against Kulibayev were made by the former head of the BTA Bank, Mukhtar Ablyazov. The exiled banker supported his claims with 56 pages of documents chronicling precise ways Kulibayev pocketed state assets. In his letters to the authorities, as well as the message to patriot Mukhtar Shakhanov, Ablyazov said that from 2003 to 2005, an organized criminal group headed by Kulibayev was involved in illegal deals on the sale of state-owned shares of the company CNPC Aktupemunaygas at costs much lower than the market. For this, the group received a bribe in the amount of more than $165 million. I am confident that when the financial police reported earlier this year that it found no criminal offense in these papers in relation to Kulibayev, it actually pelted with the truth. The only question is who really Timur Kulibayev is, and he is the son-in-law of the Kazakh president Nazarbayev. This explains everything. Commenting the news from Switzerland, observers cautiously note that perhaps the latest developments are linked to 2012, the year of presidential elections in Kazakhstan. Analyst Marat Shibutov said that similar lawsuits could be filed only abroad, as the local legal system simply doesn't work. It is not a secret that our judicial system is not very influential and independent. Foreign courts will be used since many powerful people in our country have property abroad and are subject to foreign laws. Reportedly, the action of the Swiss prosecutor's office was filed by a group of Kazakh citizens opposing corruption back at home, who said anonymously it flourished during the rule of President Nazarbayev's administration. Nevertheless, all of them still reside in Kazakhstan, and their anonymity is preserved due to the risk of severe repressions by the state. On Thursday, the Sararka District Court of Astana extended the arrest terms of the former health minister Zhaksilik Duskaliyev, reported Interfax, citing the official's lawyer Eduard Shampiev. The court satisfied a petition of the financial police to extend the arrest to 3 months until January 12, 2011. The previously issued 2-month arrest warrant to Duskaliyev will expire on December 12. The financial police are investigating several criminal cases involving the former health minister, who is charged with abuse of power and accepting bribes in especially large amounts. The former chief physician of Kazakhstan is also accused of embezzling state budget funds. Meanwhile, the official's family claims that all accusations are groundless. They appealed with an open letter to the citizens of Kazakhstan, hinting at the intervention of certain political groups. Duskaliyev turns 55 on November 30th, and we hoped that he could be released for his birthday, at least for the house arrest, but this didn't happen. We know that he is innocent. All of this was organized by a group of people at the top, but I cannot say who exactly. The leadership of the Customs Control Department of the Almaty region held an urgent press briefing on Thursday to refute recent accusations of broker Kanagat Takeyeva. Just a day prior, she spoke to the press about customs agency officers extorting money from businessmen and asked the head of state to intervene in the situation. The event on Thursday was planned by the Customs Department as retaliation. However, officials were very surprised to see Takeyeva also attend their briefing. The head of the Customs Control Department of the Almaty region, Kurmanbek Artakbayev, said that an internal investigation was launched and 2 employees mentioned in the publications were fired. Still, the leadership of the agency advises the media to address the situation closely. I'm not saying there's no corruption within the customs agency, but it is not as scaled as described by Takeyeva. The chairman of the Brokers Association, Gennady Shestakov, said that perhaps Takeyeva indeed found herself in a desperate situation, but she might have brought it upon herself. It is likely Takeyeva committed to bring some cargoes over in violation of the law but failed to do so. Then she was asked to return the money. Thus we're not talking about real laws here, but interpersonal relations and people's understanding of honor. Kurmanbek Artakbayev says that according to all documents, Takeyeva was fired from the company Elbrus on October 1st, but he received her papers only 2 weeks later. This asserted the leadership of the customs agency that Takeyeva used fake documents while working with her clients. I fired Takeyeva on October 1st. The handwritten dismissal application with no stamps, letterheads, so my signature was drafted later on. Surprisingly, Kanaga Takeyeva also attended the conference. It was visibly difficult for the speakers to discuss the actions of the businesswoman in her presence. When the time has come for a Q&A, the president of the press club reminded everyone this was a conference and not a reality show, thus all the questions had to be asked by reporters only. However, the first question directed at Artakbayev was why he doesn't want to discuss the issue openly, and the floor was given to Takeyeva after all. As the first thing, she spoke of the dismissal application. After what was said by Biryukov, who I feel sorry for, I wonder if I can continue to work privately. Not as part of the company you previously represented, of course you will not be let there, but privately, if you find customers who will need you, please do. No one will stop you. Following several questions, Artakbayev noted that he doesn't want to discuss these issues in the press club, as he never intended to do so in the first place. He also said that he's ready to meet with Takeyeva in the presence of the media, but not today. Later, reporters asked the broker whether she's afraid to openly express her views. Everyone wants to work professionally and make money, especially if you have kids, and no protection from top officials. I'm forced to defend my family and kids on my own. After that, representatives of the Customs Committee asked Takeyeva to follow them into the negotiation room, although it is still not known what the outcome of the talks was. Reporters only heard Takeyeva say that she will not give up and will see the case to the end. The informal start of the OSCE summit took place in Astana on Thursday with the launch of the International Media Center located in the Art Palace Shabut. At the same time, the special English language satellite channel Summit TV also began its operation, which will continue until the end of the event on December 2nd. The media center is fully equipped according to the latest trends. It has special rooms for interviews and even showers. However, some of press rooms still have no internet access, while others are just being set up. This doesn't bother organizers, as they are more concerned about security issues. As far as I know, we will monitor online all events happening in the Palace of Independence, located not far from here. During a briefing later in the day, OSCE and Foreign Affairs Ministry representatives shared the agenda for the upcoming days. It was revealed that the OSCE Freedom of Speech representative Dunya Mijatovic will hold a meeting on November 26. Presidents of Lithuania and Ukraine will be among the first guests to have press conferences. We did not invent these rules. Often working sessions are held behind closed doors, unlike plenary. We will also share this info with representatives of Dunya Mijatovic, and later we'll notify you about everything. The new TV channel Summit TV also began its round-the-clock operation. It will mostly broadcast news in English, but will also feature documentaries about Kazakhstan. To properly translate and insert all required subtitles, the staff of specialists at national TV channels will be increased fourfold. Summit TV will broadcast all the events and plenary sessions of the summit live. We also plan to make special reports. In the meantime, Astana is undergoing last-minute preparations like installation of banners and flags with OSCE symbols. We work from 6 in the morning until 5 in the evening. The tight security regime is observed not only inside the city. The areas outside Astana are blocked by the military personnel and special forces detachments. Ordinary residents of Astana have been advised not to leave their homes, stock on food and refrain from smoking on their balconies during the duration of the summit. The written warnings can now be seen in most high-rises of the city. Supposedly, following the advised measures on December 1st and 2nd could even save lives. During the OSCE summit, tenants of Astana's high-rises will be forbidden to smoke on their balconies or even use them to look at places hosting the event. Local resident Dias Moldabayev says these security measures are absurd, although he will not organize any parties during the summit, just in case. Just imagine, you can be shot just for going to the balcony? That's not pretty, in fact that's quite sad. The daunting announcements and high-rises were placed there by the heads of apartment owners' unions and the President's Security Service. However, neither of them intend to explain the reasons for such tight measures. We have reporters from Stan here. Should we give them comments? The President's security said we cannot comment the situation. For several days, the chairman of the housing cooperative Northern Crown visits all of the tenants of 4 houses located in close proximity to a location used for the summit. On December 1st, police officers will assume duties on each floor of these buildings. This is why the chairman encourages tenants to stay inside during the forum and refrain from looking out the windows. For security reasons, smoking will be allowed only in the halls. We do this to bring some order and set up good relations between tenants and officers. No one says that smoking is banned. People are asked to do it in the hall just for one day to avoid complicating the work of security. Policemen say that these inconveniences will end on December 3rd and recommend to stock food for these days of the summit. The best option, however, will be to leave the city altogether. Tightened security measures were also observed next to the main New Year tree of the country, next to the President's residence in Astana. On Wednesday, an emergency happened at the site when a giant plasma screen collapsed on a group of children rehearsing their dance routine. 3 girls were hospitalized and are currently fine, while the police launched an investigation into the incident. The ceremony of lighting the tree was held on Thursday as scheduled. As expected, the New Year tree lighting ceremony was attended by the leader of the nation, who was given the honors. After the traditional performance of dance bands and grand fireworks, the president delivered a congratulatory speech. He devoted most of his 5-minute address not to the holiday, but to the country's economical achievements and the upcoming OSCE summit, which has actually forced the authorities to start early preparations for the new year. The OSCE summit will take place in just a few days. The leaders of 55 states and 20 international organizations will gather together in our capital. This shows a great deal of respect and trust to our country and people.